What's going on YouTube? Joshua Wade here, and today is going to be another podcast. I apologize for not posting more frequently, but I have been busy with actual music projects because I am a musician and a producer, so it's been kind of busy, but no excuse, I understand. But here we are with another podcast, and as you can tell probably by the thumbnail, which is probably why you clicked this, I have made the past 30 songs, 30 beats or instrumentals, right? I call them instrumentals because they're not all really hip-hop, R&B. Some of them are alternative rock, things like that. But the past 30 or 40 beats on Ableton only, which has been kind of crazy for me. So I have really been cutting my teeth with that program. And you guys might have seen some of my comments, my other videos. Ableton Live has always been kind of my side chick. I call it the side chick doll because Studio One and Logic Pro have been my main DAWs for the past 2 years consistently, but the past 7 years was Studio One. So using Ableton, it's definitely a different way to work, but I must say, I like it because again, I've done over 30 songs inside of it in just the past couple of months, 2 or 3 months, and it's been a lot of fun, and even more so past probably 2 weeks. It's ramped up. I started to do instrumentals here and there, and now I'm pretty much just using it full time. I haven't opened Studio One in a while. I think Ableton is for music composition if you're a solo producer or like a solo artist, and I think Studio One destroys it if you're an actual band or you're recording multiple pieces at one time. I couldn't really imagine doing that with Ableton, and I have tried to quantize guitars in Ableton, and it does work. It's pretty efficient when it comes to that, but Studio One's workflow is geared more towards old school Pro Tools guys like me, as Ableton is geared more towards modern day producers. Now, I'm not saying you can't do either one of these things with either one of these DAWs. You could record a full band inside of Ableton. I wouldn't want to. I would rather do that with Studio One. And I'm not saying you can't produce music as a solo producer inside of Studio One. You definitely can do that. Both DAWs are completely capable, and that is why I have both of them still on my computer. Studio One is kind of now become my side chick, and Ableton is my primary, to be honest with you. And I tried, if you guys watched or listened to my last couple of podcasts, I really did try Cubase 12 Pro. I gave it 100% of my effort. I just could not get into that workflow. Cubase has a lot of really cool features, and I can completely understand why people like Hans Zimmer and Zed, among a bunch of other people, those are just the most popular ones I can think of, they use it. And Hans Zimmer is one of my heroes when it comes to composers. But I couldn't get into the workflow. I really could not. It just seemed like, I think Cubase is definitely powerful, and I kind of feel like Studio One, there's a lot less clicks involved to get where I need to go. And someone said that in one of the comments. They said they actually loved Cubase also, but it seemed like they were clicking 3 times to every one in Studio One. And then I kind of, as smart ass that I am, I kind of thought that's because Studio One doesn't have the feature probably to even click it, which is kind of true. But again, you have to kind of think like Cubase has way more features, but to me, Studio One is a smoother workflow, a quicker workflow. If you guys are new to this podcast, if you guys are new to my channel, I thoroughly believe there's not one perfect DAW, right? There's not one that does everything that everybody needs it to do. That's why they create so many. They've made so many different DAWs in the past, couple of decades, and they're all a little bit different, and they all have something to offer that the other one doesn't. I truly believe that, and that's why I have been trying so many different DAWs over the past, honestly, 1.5 to 2 years now. I've been trying a couple different ones, the heavy hitters, the main ones. I experimented with Reaper for like 2 seconds. Okay, I made one beat in Reaper, and then I tried to quantize 10 drum tracks, an actual acoustic kit that was mic'd up with 10 microphones. I tried to edit that, and it was not bad. Now, I will say this, Reaper is better than Pro Tools because I used Pro Tools for over a decade before I went to Studio One. And hopping into Reaper, I even tried Pro Tools, guys. I even tried Pro Tools, like the latest version at the time of me recording this, the latest version of Pro Tools, it still wasn't there for me. I really have been digging Ableton Live, and I'm going to kind of go down that rabbit hole more so. I really like how you can sidechain really quickly and efficiently. I like their stock plugins are amazing. Well, they're good. They're not amazing, right? They're not like groundbreaking, but as far as stock plugins go on a DAW, that's what I liked about Cubase. The stock plugins in Cubase will walk all over Studio One's stock plugins. Hands down, they are way better. I kind of feel the same way about Ableton's plugins. I think they're better than Studio One's. I really do. I think Ableton's EQ, compressor, and like they have a saturator. They don't have a dedicated de-esser. They have a de-esser setting, but I use FabFilter Pro DS anyway, or I'm manually de-essing, so it doesn't really bother me too much. But I am going down the Ableton rabbit hole, guys, for the foreseeable future. I'll be using Ableton. I still have Studio One, and anytime a client sends me a mix or a master project, it's going to be in Studio One at this point, because I'm just very comfortable with Studio One, and I know how to route everything, and I know how to do it in Studio One, but Ableton is just faster for me. And the automation is so easy, so quick. You click something, you can automate almost any parameter, and you just click it, and there's your automation lane, and you can just adjust it. It's very convenient for me, making my music, my instrumentals, my beats on the fly, like really going, because I'm trying to make 2 to 5 beats a day, 2 to 5 instrumentals a day, and I have been doing that the past few days. It's just so fast. It's so fast. I already have my stock mastering chain with stock plugins, more or less. The only stock plugin I don't use is the limiter, just because I don't really like Ableton's limiter that much. So I use Sonible's the smart limit, not the one that come out that's pretty much automated, but the other one, I think it's like $120, and it's one of the best limiters I've used. So that's the only third-party plugin in my mastering chain for Ableton. I can't say that with other DAWs. Now, mind you, I didn't use Cubase for really long enough to dig into it, but Ableton, and I'm using Suite, Ableton Live 11 Suite. I know the lower tiers don't have as many plugins, but that's going to do it for this video, guys. I just kind of wanted to let you know in a rant a little bit. I have been using Ableton Live for all of my songs for the past 2 months, and I am going to continue that. Hopefully you guys are having a good week. This is a Wednesday. I'm going to post this podcast, and I will catch you guys in the next video. I will try to pick it back up next Wednesday for the podcasts, and feel free to leave your comments down below. Let's start a conversation. What DAW do you like, and why do you like it? What's your favorite feature about one DAW, or your most hated about another? Let's start a conversation. There's no reason we have to just talk about one DAW. Let's start a conversation in this. That's why I really like making these videos, because the conversations have been really amazing and somewhat civil. So let's continue that. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.